let's take a look at what the dailies are saying this morning. We'll begin with the Daily Trust newspaper. Right on the top, you'd see IBB endorses Oshibajo for 2023 presidency. There's a huge pictorial there that shows the projects commissioned by President Muhammadu Buhari yesterday in Borno State, talking about Borno's first flyover and another landmark of Governor Babagana Zulum in 2 years. Some of the key features are the project started in 2020 and it was completed in 2021 at the cost of 4.2. You also see longest in the northeast, and it is located at Old Customs Roundabout in Maiduguri. Part of the project are two-stage type with ramps 1 and 2 and the ground routes networks. You'd also see 3.55 kilometer combined length, which connects Maiduguri with Gamburu Road from eastern axis, Bama from southern axis, and Baga through the north axis. Part of the project commissioned also are 2 pedestrian bridges from both sides. So these are some of the stories on the Daily Trust newspaper. All right.
Well, let's take a look at other stories on the Punch newspaper this morning. The lead story says, NIS warns of foreign terror attacks. FG heightens security. You would see that on page 2 with the writers. Nigerian, Algerian terrorists on the way from Mali to invade Abuja. Plan can never work. FCT security network intact, says Guard Brigade. You'd also see strategies in place to avert attacks. No cause for alarm. That's according to immigration. Also, we have other stories there. At the very top, you'd find darkness looms as 6 power plants halt operations over gas shortage. And that's on page 21 of the Punch. Can kicks as FG limits religious gatherings to 50%. We will raise infrastructure finance from 13 trillion naira pension funds. Others, that's the central bank. 5 killed as terrorists bomb Maiduguri airport areas. I beg your pardon. They bombed Maiduguri airport areas ahead of Buhari's visit. You'd also see beside the pictorial there showing you stories about divorce. We are probing possible hacking of Olori Naomi's Instagram page, says Oni's Palace. You'd see also Lagos declares Magodo invasion unwarranted, vows to prosecute culprits. I possess qualities to become outstanding governor. That's according to Bamidele. You'd also see the pictorial there showing you the Idumota end of the Nnamdi Azikiwe Road of Lagos Island, how choked up and congested it is, I believe, in light of Christmas and all of that. These are the major stories on the Punch today.
Okay, let's take a look at some of the stories on the Guardian newspaper this morning. The lead story there, oil spills hit 14 million litres as Shell's 800 billion naira judgment upsets industry. The riders, NNPC, Shell, other spills worth 2.8 billion in months. Experts question integrity of oil infrastructure as failure persists. IOCs must be forced to clean up as the divest stakeholders demand. You'd find on page 2 of the Guardian newspaper, darkness looms as gas shortage hits Gencos. You'd also see broadcast stations get February 17 deadline to renew licenses. And on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper, COVID-19, federal government restricts religious gathering to 50% capacity. And on page 4, NSCDC commandant forfeits 60 buildings land to federal government. These are some of the stories on the Guardian newspaper this morning.
All right. Well, we have in the studio Nuruddin Abdullah, editor, 21st Century Chronicle in the studio to give us perspectives on the stories that made the headlines. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
All right, now let's look at, the stories this morning. It's about, insecurity is on the front burner again. There's an alarm raised, about invasion of the federal capital territory. Should we be worried now, even as we, observe the Yuletide?
Yes, because the alert is not coming from you and me. It's coming from the people who should know, the people who should protect us, the security agencies. Even though it is by a paramilitary agency, the immigration services, but even before now, there was a similar alert from the DSS. So I think maybe what Nigerians want, particularly this particular time, is not for security agencies to be heightening the tension. We want all these potential threats nip in the bud. We want arrests, like some countries do. We want to see these Malian terrorists holding Algerian passports, But I think if you have such details, unless if, for instance, now the details have been transferred to you by maybe a sister agency elsewhere, these people should be apprehended. But more importantly, we talk about, I think they even have his passport numbers, the number of vehicles he's been driven, If the terrorist coming through a formal border, is he coming from Libya? Or is Seme or Idi Oroko? Our country is porous. We can man it.
We're actually seeing a response to that by the Guards Brigade saying plan can never work. FCT security network is intact. Are we really ready for this?
When Guards Brigade speaks, when they say the federal capital, which part of the federal capital are we talking about? Is the 3 armed zones or what? That's the question we should ask. Yes, the Guards Brigade are here. They are the presidential guards. They got critical facilities and top-level government officials, the presidency, But more importantly, what I see, there won't be invasion like it is, but don't forget, for long, in the last couple of months, the governor of Niger State has been complaining that there are terrorists controlling some parts of the state. Even before he spoke, his counterpart from Nasarawa State came to the presidency, came to the villa, and made the same complaint that intelligence he got from his security services in Nasarawa State, saying that there are some terrorist convergence in certain areas. And they sandwich the federal capital. So even though this issue of terrorists coming from Mali and but what we are saying here is there is indeed a security threat. Look at the Kaduna-Abuja road. Look at the Abuja-Kefi-Akwanga road. Look at the Abuja-Lokoja. A general was killed not long ago in Kuje. At least a general, a major general, not a brigadier general. And that's the end of it. Forget about the pockets of abductions across the state. It's a recurrent decimal, for instance, in the Zuba area, Kuje area, Gwagwalade area. And if you look at the distance from the center, it seems that these people are around us, only that maybe they are not well equipped enough, or they don't have that audacity to launch a major attack on the city. But the issue is that these undesirable elements are around, and they are doing smaller abductions, killings, and that will look the other way.
So if you juxtapose that, yesterday the president visited, Maiduguri, and ahead of his visit, there was something that looked like a welcome to the president, if you may, to put it on a lighter note, just to make a statement, maybe, by suspected Boko Haram elements explosion, in the country. And the president made some very very strong statements yesterday by saying that Nigeria is going to deal squarely with enemies of Nigeria, that there is no any stone that will be left unturned as far as that is concerned. He's also going ahead to repeat his words that he has consistently said, that Nigerians should look at the situation now than it was before 2015. So maybe just let's hear your own thoughts, around that, with all that we have been seeing happening.
Yes, Mr. President spoke like a politician. You understand? There was that, like you say, welcome. They welcomed the president with some rockets, local rockets attacks along the Maiduguri airport area. Yes, there is one fact that is not that we cannot controvert: the fact that the capabilities of the terrorists has been decimated indeed. They can carry suicide attacks inside Maiduguri now. And they don't have the capacity to launch even rockets, because if you look at it, they are local rockets, they are non-precision rockets. We hope that they won't get those precision rockets and what have you. And the president always said that we should compare 2015 and now, but that is why we voted for him. Yes, what he say may be tenable in Maiduguri, but what he says may not be tenable in Kaduna, in Zamfara, in Katsina, in Sokoto, in some parts of Kebbi or Nasarawa states. The Kaduna State governor was at the villa recently, just some days ago. Did he go there to have a dinner with the president or to have a tea party? No. He simply went there to lodge complaint that this thing is getting out of hand. People are dying. Days before Erufai's visit to the villa, his Sokoto counterpart was there. He didn't go there to talk about party politics. No, he went there to talk about security. Banditry is raging. Look at what happened in Sokoto. Look at what happened in Kaduna. Recently, bandits took over the Abuja-Kaduna roads. They operated on daily basis for 5 consecutive days. I listened to a security consultant talking about but it seems that we are on top of the situation. Even though maybe the police will say they are on top of the situation, we are not. Saying that there are no attacks in the federal capital is not enough reason to say that the security has improved. Yeah, there may not be bombings like we used to have in 2014 or something like that. But the fact remains that people are being killed, including the VIP. I saw an instance. An immediate past general, a provost marshal of the Nigerian Army, was gunned down along the Kuje area. And that was it. A retired AVM in Kaduna was gunned down in his residence. And
let's not forget the lawmaker from Kaduna State who was recently also killed.
So that's the situation. So the situation is, yes, Mr. President, for Maiduguri, for instance, yeah, that is tenable, but not the northwest, some part of the north central. The situation is raging. Look at Sokoto. Look at how those people were roasted in the most horrendous manner ever imagined.
Okay, now tomorrow is Christmas. There's so much fear in the land. And a lot of people have traveled. Some, because of the fear, just decided to just spend their Christmas where they are. You know, this launching of attacks that we're seeing and, you know, kidnapping, you know, and bandits activities that we're seeing here and there, should we expect to see anything like that, you know, as we celebrate the Yuletide?
Not necessary, because bandits or ISWA, Boko Haram terrorists, you know, Boko Haram terrorists always want to make political statements like they did yesterday. You understand? They launched their local rockets. I know they got the headlines.
Right.
Just opposed with Boko Haram hits Maiduguri minutes before President Buhari's visit. They got the headlines. But in the case of bandit, it is not like that. It's mostly economical. And, you know, with the way people, even before this season, you know, they have understood the situation, and they realize that following the road, you can only travel if it is extremely necessary. Say a family who is earning just the living wage, the minimum wage, 30K has been abducted, and they are demanding 50 million naira. You can see how traumatic that can be. If, for instance, if you listen to one of the conversation with one of the bandits, he said, if everybody I'm related to will be gathered, we can raise such funds. You understand? So even before that, the insecurity has conditioned people. You only travel if it is extremely necessary. Two things, the economic realities. Look at the fuel, even if you have a car. The inflation. So I don't think there will be anything different this season. If you look at it, yeah, people must celebrate Christmas at whatever condition they find. But there is nothing different from what we used to have. And like I say, people have conditioned themselves. Inflation has conditioned them. Insecurity has conditioned them. Other economic realities have. Thank you very much. Yeah. So I think there won't be much. Look at it. Maybe if you go to the garages and those days, 5 days, 4 days to the time you will see people like it is a war. But I haven't seen that in the media yet.
A lot of racketeering, people trying to get across.
Yeah. So that is it. So that is it. So the situation actually needs to be overhauled.
All right, well, let's take a quick break, and then when we come back, we'll continue with our conversation on Daybreak. Please stay with us.
The board and management of Media Trust Limited invites the general public to its annual Daily Trust Dialogue, themed 2023, The Politics, Economy and Insecurity. Date, 20th January 2022. Location, NAF Conference Center and Suites, Abuja. Time, 10 a.m. prompt. Chairman of the occasion, former Head of State, General Abdulsalami Abubakar, GCFR. Guest Speaker, Governor of Kaduna State, Malan Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai. Guest Speaker, Governor of Ebonyi State, Engineer David Umahi. Guest Speaker, former Chairman, Federal Inland Revenue Service, Mrs. Ifueko Omoigui Okauru. Moderator, Executive Director, Daria Media Nigeria Limited, Kadaria Ahmed. The event will be transmitted live on Trust TV, and all participants must observe COVID-19 protocols and wear their face masks.
All right, welcome back. Now let's take a look at some other stories on our dailies this morning. On the Daily Trust newspaper, there's a story about IBB endorsing Oshibajo for 2023 presidency. Could you comment on that?
Yes, the Maradona is back.
The Maradona indeed.
The Maradona is back, The other time I remember, he said Nigeria should be, he foresee a president by 2023 who is, was it little above 60? I don't know whether endorsing Osibanjo now is in line with his earlier say, we will see. IBB is somebody that you take very seriously. That is one. He knows Nigeria very well. He knows most of these characters parading themselves, trying to be A, B, C, X, Y, Z by 2023. But more importantly, if you read the story, Osibanjo has all the, he has the competence, yes, and he may have the acceptance as well. People know him as a gentleman. He's a professor of law. He's a man of God. And if you're talking about experience, apart from his Lagos experience for 8 years, he will be vice president, maybe God willing, for 8 years. So he understood this government.
Yeah, so, but, it's somehow you're brewing some kind of conflict where you make such statements because, we know that in the Southwest, some of the persons there that hold the political influence, are also considering the 2023 presidency. I do not really want to go into details, but I will let you
Yeah, that's correct. But, talking about power shift, we spoke about power shift some times back. If you say power shift to the South, it should be power shift to somebody that's come from the South. And the faith professed by that person equally matters. So with the present arrangement, after a northerner, a Muslim, served for 8 years by 2023, a southerner who belongs to the other faith, major faith, as Christianity, should be given the... But all these things are determined by so many factors. Osibanjo's benefactor, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the front runner. But like I said, Osibanjo is understudying this government by 2023 for 8 years. So the ruling party, the APC, for instance, now, if they want to consolidate Buhari's laudable achievements, who should be that person that will...
Okay. When we voted for Buhari, we voted for President Buhari to fight, corruption and all of that. Yeah. And you've mentioned quite a number of qualities that we all know Oshibajo has. But it seems like when they get into office, just like a chameleon, they change.
Yes, but in the last 6 years, the vice president hasn't changed much. Remember, we do campaign with him, particularly in 2015. Yeah, throughout the 20 I was in the campaign, the APC presidential campaign trail in 2015. I see him now from afar, but I don't think he has changed that much. Basically because he's not just a politician. He's a professional, he's a lawyer. Not only a lawyer, professor of law, and he's equally a pastor. So, when you put all these things, and he has the competence.
Well, we'll get to see how all that pans out, because there's a whole lot, involved in this.
Sure.
If you read the story, you hear the Asiwaju part, where his own supporters are also saying, look, you cannot do that. You are wasting your endorsement, telling...
They may go to me now and get another endorsement again. There will be series of endorsements.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing your perspective with us this morning. We've been speaking with Nuruddin Abdallah. He's the editor, 21st Century Chronicle, and he's a reviewer.